Cycling and staying active to me, it means a lot of things. I started racing in rowing in 2014. I raced at the Olympic Games in 2021, the postponed games. And then, swapped over to cycling in 2022 in January. I'd swapped over to cycling because I'd reached a point in rowing where I felt like I'd got everything I wanted to get out of the sport, and I wasn't particularly happy doing the sport. I don't perform well if I'm not happy, and I think it's very important when you do a sport so intensely, you have to really enjoy it. Otherwise, what is the point? I think primarily I get a wonderful sense of relief and headspace when I'm active and when I'm training. I think being outdoors, spending time training, it's so good at helping me focus my thoughts. It's a sport to go and put all my attention into, and I think without it I would feel a little bit lost. If I start to get sick, it has the potential to change my entire year, and if my entire year has changed, my career in either rowing or cycling, it's changed. Cautions around airborne viruses should be taken by everyone because you never know what other people are dealing with. So whilst you might be very happy and very healthy, you don't know if you're putting someone else at risk if you're not taking airborne viruses seriously and not looking after yourself and not controlling any spread of viruses. This is something that it's really on my mind, but I think it should be on a lot of people's minds at the same time.
Charlotte is no different than any other person, apart from the fact that she trains a lot more and therefore her immune system is stressed. So the way it works is that if you're actually tired, overworked, your immune system is compromised, which is why Charlotte, like many other athletes, are more prone to virus infections. And over the last 4 years, we've learned a lot more about virus infections and the impact on our lives and how it actually happens than we probably did over the last 4 or 5 decades. I think the real difference now is that we've actually all experienced virus infections. So we know more about now how to protect ourselves than we've done in the past. Enzymatica AB is a small Swedish biotech company based in Lund. The foundation of the company is a barrier technology based on something called coldzyme, which is a patented technology. The product in the marketplace today is called coldzyme. We market it in Sweden and the UK. What's unique about the product is the fact that it actually deals with the underlying cause of the cold and flu symptoms, which is a virus infection.
My name's Glenn Davison. I'm a professor in sport and exercise sciences at the University of Kent. When we're talking about upper respiratory infections like the common cold, generally starts with the virus getting into the body and infecting the body. Symptoms will start mild to begin with, and then they'll get worse and worse as the infection intensifies. Ultimately, the body will fight it off and get rid of it, and the symptoms will subside, and then they will go away. And that's when you've got rid of the infection or you've cleared the virus. And we sometimes call that the remission phase of the virus. So the research that we've been doing with athletes is interested in studying the risk of picking up infections, upper respiratory infections like the common cold, and also how bad the symptoms are and how long the illness lasts. And what we've been looking at is whether the product, coldzyme, has any effect on the risk of getting these types of infections, or how long the athletes have these infections for, or how bad the symptoms are when they're suffering with these infections.
I decided to take part in the trial at the University of Kent because I'd already known about the product for quite a long time. I really believed in it. I'd found it very helpful in my training, and I saw this study come up, and it was something that I wanted to be part of because I wanted to, on the one hand, see how the product was progressing and see how the journey was going, because there's a lot of secrecy around training and our data, and for me, this study was a really good way that I could give my data and share my experience with this so that it could benefit a lot of people who otherwise would not have this data. I felt it was something that I really wanted to do. I think as an athlete, it's so important that what we take is proven, because you have to be very, very strict and very careful on what you put in your body, so it has to be high quality. Otherwise you will suffer from loss of training, potentially injury, and ultimately you won't perform as well. And I this is kind of why I gravitated towards coldzyme, because I'd been prescribed it by a team doctor. There's that sense of trust around it, because it wouldn't cause me problems later on down the line.
The results from this research are exciting because they've shown significant reductions in illness duration, symptoms, and viral load. And we've seen this in endurance athletes, but it's applicable to anybody who can suffer from these illnesses, which is the general population, the general public, and pretty much everybody.
Results from the just completed Glenn-Davidson study is very encouraging. This is the continuum of a journey that Enzymatica AB has been on in terms of continuing to prove the efficacy of the product and how it actually works. We're embarking on discussions with potential partners in markets outside of Europe, and we're going to evaluate how we expand the current product form, which is a mouth spray, into other dosage forms that makes it easier for people to use. The data will actually demonstrate that coldzyme is a completely different way of working, a true innovation, breakthrough innovation.
Why do you like the product so much?
Genuinely, because it works. Like, it genuinely felt like this. I just found this thing that worked for me so well and my lifestyle, and I could just always call on it. And so I continue to use it, and it's still the same. It's something that I can just use, and it works, and I don't have to worry, which is somehow a little bit, yeah, it seems like I've just hit this magic button of something that just works for me really well.